Welcome to the Daily Thunder Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Rabar, beat writer for DailyThunder.com. Every week, we will have guests ranging from national sports writers and local reporters to OKC celebrities and Thunder staff and players. Our special guest this week, Danilo Gallinari, the Rooster. The Thunder granted the Daily Thunder Podcast an exclusive interview with Danilo Gallinari, and I'm happy to report that he is as friendly and down-to-earth off the court as he is a cold-blooded assassin on the court. According to our producer, Rachel Jameson, he's as easygoing as he is easy on the eyes. Let's take a stroll through Mr. Presti's neighborhood and chat with Danilo Gallinari. Well, first off, thank you for coming on our podcast. And I'm just really happy that you're here for this podcast and not Miami, so that you could do this. This is just going to be kind of a getting to know Danilo for our listeners. And I want to go back to something you said on Media Day. I loved what you said. You said that everybody always asks you about New York and LA and that nobody ever asks you about Denver, and that is one of your favorite cities to play in. And I just want to know, now that you've been in Oklahoma City for a little while, also a smaller market, do you have any of those same kind of feelings that you did about Denver? It's not the biggest city, but you're enjoying playing here? Yeah, similar feelings.
Denver is bigger than OKC, but you get similar feelings. Smaller city, smaller market. So yes, I think there's some similarities.
Very good. Also, I love something that Chris Paul said earlier this season. He's played with so many great teammates from James Harden and Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, but he said, and this is just like a month into the season, he said that you were already one of his favorite teammates of all time. What do you think makes you such a great teammate, and who are some of your favorite teammates you've ever had?
Well, after what CP said, I definitely want to give CP some love too. He's definitely one of my favorites. But I don't say it just because he said it. He's really an amazing guy. Not just an amazing player, but to be able to hang out with a guy like this, that we can talk about everything. We sit together on the plane, on the bus, and so we talk about a lot of stuff every time. And he's just a great guy, and a guy that you can trust, and you can talk about everything with him. And I think that's the kind of teammate that you want to have.
Awesome. Now, your name was a hot topic at the trade deadline, but I know that Oklahoma City fans are really happy that you're still here. Like, if you follow social media at all, everybody wanted you to stay here. When you first traded here, did you envision yourself playing out this season in Oklahoma City? And what do you think about the rest of this season?
I think it's always tough to change during the season, so to get traded during the season. So I really wanted to stay here. Especially, I think it's tough to leave such a great atmosphere, great teammates, a group that is winning when you're winning, and you go to another city, another team is always tough, I think. So, I wanted to stay, and coming into the season, I was very excited. It was just a new chapter in my life, and like every new chapter, you're always excited.
Now, we won't hold you to this, but Thunder fans do want to. Is there any chance that Danilo Gallinari is on this team next season?
I hope so.
Awesome.
It's something that is not the time now to talk with the team. But in the summer, it's gonna be interesting for me. But of course, after the year that we've been having, and we have so many things to do, especially right now with the playoff run and going into the playoffs and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting. But definitely, it could be a great option for me to stay here.
That's fantastic. Now, I did want to talk to you. You had a unique bond with Kobe Bryant in that he was raised in Italy from the time that he was 6 years old. He spoke Italian, and I know that he spoke to you in Italian, and he gave you advice, and he always had so many great things to say about you. I saw that he said that he thought you'd be an all-star one day. He just always praised you. Looking back on it now, how special are those memories with Kobe and that unique bond and the things he said about you?
Well, I have great memories, like you said, and I can say, so many stories about Kobe and me. But, it's tough. It's something that is always tough to talk about, even when that happened. And even now, that has been, some days is still tough to talk about it, but it was I only have great memories about him. Not just as a player, was one of the best ever, but as a person, I had only great memories, and I can only say great things about him.
That's awesome. Now, I know that in Italy, your dad was a professional basketball player. Was that a motivation for you to become great? Because you started playing professional ball at 16 years old in Italy. So was watching your dad growing up being such a great player, was that motivation for you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I grew up in the basketball world, and I was going to see him practicing every day, following him throughout his career. I was very young, so I don't have a lot of memories, but for sure, the fact that he was a great player, and for me to have him at home and talk about, basketball and see the way that he views life and basketball, it was just great. And of course, it was a great motivation for me.
Now, you've also said that you miss your mom's cooking. How often do you get to get your mom's cooking? Is she ever here? What's your favorite dish that she cooks?
She usually comes here for Christmas, so I don't get to see her a lot, but and that's why Christmas is the best time, because she's there every day and she's cooking every day, and so I miss that. And then in the summer when I go back to Italy, I see her again, and that's when the cooking starts again, and so it's amazing.
Now, you played for the same Italian team that your dad played for, and it was owned, I believe, by Giorgio Armani, right? Now, are you still friends with Armani? Like, do you just like randomly text up Giorgio Armani like, "Hey, what's up, G?" I mean, like,
I have a great relationship with him, because I was since a young age, I was not just playing for him, for his team, but I was also working for him outside of basketball. So he was a sponsor. I was doing a lot of stuff for him outside of basketball. So I have a great relationship with him, and who knows? Maybe when I'm done with my NBA career, I'll go back and play a couple of more years for my city.
Oh, that'd be really cool. Now, fans have had a lot of fun with your Instagram and your tweets. You're doing these like Photoshop special effects tweets, and I've had questions. People are wondering, are you doing that yourself, or are you having somebody else do those for you?
I am not doing that myself.
Okay.
I have a team in Italy, and they do all this stuff for me. I'm not that good with social media, and I'm not a guy that follows social media every day. I'm not on the phone every day.
Right.
And I'm lucky that they do such a great job, because if it was for me, I'll maybe post one picture every 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm very glad they're working for me.
Did you have any idea that fans would kind of freak out, wondering what was happening when you posted the one with you like disappearing?
That was a nice one. Everything, you can see it and have many thoughts, but I thought it was funny.
This team in small market Oklahoma City has a lineup that fans have nicknamed the United Nations, because it's a lineup. Chris Paul is American. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is Canadian. Dennis Schroeder is German. Steven Adams is from New Zealand. And, of course, you're Italian. Is it fun to have a team with such diversity?
It's fun, because when you're not playing basketball and you're spending time on the plane or on the bus or in the hotel, you experience and you ask questions about their countries. You ask questions about their life before coming to the States, the introduction to the NBA, to the States. So that's the most interesting part. And I ask a lot of questions, and I ask Dennis every time, and Shai, and Chris, and like you said, Steve. So it's a lot of interesting stories.
Now, I read a piece that you did actually, and you said that you're a really good ping pong player, and you're pretty competitive.
Yeah.
So how good are you? And I know that in LA you had somebody to play with. Have you found anybody in Oklahoma to play with yet?
No, because in LA it was easy, because we had the ping pong table at the practice facility. So I got to talk to somebody here to make sure that we got a ping pong table at this facility too, because we don't have it yet. So it was easy to play right after every practice. But yeah, ping pong, I'll say after basketball is the sport that I can do better.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll talk to the people about that, see what we can do for you. Just the last couple questions. I know that you've made it to playoffs 3 times, but you've never made it to the second round. Do you think
4 times?
4 times. I'm sorry. We'll edit that out so I don't sound so stupid. You made it 4 times. Do you think that this team can make it to the second round?
I think so, because the way that we are playing, the way that we are approaching the second part, the playoff push, and the way that we are playing, I think that we have in the playoffs everything can happen, and so we have a chance to surprise a lot of people.
last question. Your first playoffs, I believe, was that against Oklahoma City?
Yep.
So how weird is it going to be now? Your first playoffs was against Oklahoma City, and I know the crowd can be really loud.
Yeah.
How weird is it going to be now if you make the playoffs, which it's going to happen? How weird is it going to be to have Loud City cheering for you instead of against you?
I love it. I honestly can't wait. I remember that feeling coming here and playing against OKC, and I don't want to have that feeling again. So I want to have that feeling playing for OKC, and so it's gonna be crazy.
Perfect. Fans are looking forward to it. They're happy you're here. Thank you so much, Danilo, for coming on the show with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Danilo Gallinari for joining us today and for taking the time out to chat with the Daily Thunder podcast. We wish you nothing but the best for the rest of the season, health, and good luck in the playoffs. Not that you'll need it because you're a walking bucket. Thank you so much for listening and for supporting Daily Thunder. If you leave us a review in Apple Podcasts, you might hear it on the show. If you become a patron of the show, you'll receive early access to Daily Thunder content, including bonus podcast segments, along with the weekend edition, a rundown of the best stories, news, tweets, and shenanigans from the Thunder universe, complete with a letter from the editor written exclusively for our patrons. You can join today at patreon.com/dailythunder. This podcast is produced by Rachel Jameson. You can follow her. She's a great follow at Rach Jameson. Send your questions and feedback to dailythunder@gmail.com and stay on dailythunder.com every day to catch the latest Thunder news, recaps, analysis, interviews, and all kinds of nonsense. We'll see you next week.